Hello everyone, this is your session on decoding the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita. I'm sure all of you are aware that from the 1st of July, the 3 new criminal laws have come into force. So today's session is on one of the 3 criminal laws which have come into force from the 1st, which is the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita. Now the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita is going to replace your Indian Penal Code, which is a very old law which has been there since 1860, right? So 1860 was the year when during the Britishers' time, when the IPC, or the major substantive criminal law of our country, had come into force. Now, when I look at the IPC, first and the foremost, IPC is the substantive criminal law of our country, which means this is the law which defines offenses and gives you various punishment for those offenses. So that is what basically the IPC is about. It gives you the definition of all the major crimes which which may be committed by people all across the country, and also it gives you punishment for the same. Now, instead of the IPC, what has now come into place is your Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita, which is the BNS. Now, when I look at the BNS, there are some very big changes which have been brought about, like some new sections have been added in the sense that there have been new offenses which have been added. Apart from that, of course, the major chunk of BNS still remains what IPC is. In fact, this is one of the biggest criticism which BNS has faced, that the government said that we are bringing in a new law, a new law to end the colonial era laws, and it's going to be something really new and something, we are revamping the entire criminal justice system. But what was felt was that the 3 criminal laws which were there, they have been changed, but the change is not too extensive. That is what the criticism is. So today we are here to understand that so far as the BNS is concerned, what are the changes which have been brought about? So, how much is it same, and what are the new things which have been there? There might be certain things, कुछ ऐसे चीजें होंगी जहाँ पे changes हुए हैं, कुछ ऐसे चीजें हैं जहाँ पे नए additions हुए हैं. So we will differentiate and we'll try and understand both the things कि भाई कहाँ नए changes हुए हैं और कहाँ पे ये new things have been brought about. Right now, first things first, it has come into effect on 1st of July 2024. So ये already effect में आ चुका है. The bill was passed in December 2023. That is when the act was passed, but the implementation date was given as the 1st of July, and 1st of July को ये already force में आ चुका है. Now, what was the purpose? One of the main reasons they said that why we are bringing this into force, apart from the fact that हम colonial era वगैरह का law जो है change कर रहे हैं, they said they wanted to make it more contemporary, progressive and futuristic. So the basic idea was कि भाई 1860 का law है. Of course, time and again बहुत सारे amendments इसमें हुए हैं. So it is not as though 1860 से law वैसा ही चला आ रहा है. There have been a lot of amendments, whether there have been amendments which have been made by the parliament, and there have also been amendment which have been made by the Supreme Court, because I'm sure all of you have heard कि कितनी बार जो है Supreme Court को लगता है कि कोई law जो है unconstitutional है, तो उसको under its power of judicial review जो Supreme Court है उसको set aside कर देता है. So when it comes down to IPC, in the recent past, we have seen offenses like adultery, homosexuality, all those kind of offenses have been decriminalized, right? So ये जो law है, ये जो BNS है, this is going to act further on to make it more contemporary, progressive and futuristic, कि भाई future में जो requirements हैं, जो आज की date में जो needs हैं, especially a lot of emphasis in all the 3 laws has been laid on technology and digitalization and all that. तो वो कैसे यहाँ पे incorporate करा गया है, we will go ahead and understand. But this was the basic reason why these laws have been revamped. Next आ जाता है, they're saying that tackling emerging crimes, कि भाई terrorism, organized crime, cyber crime, these have been around, but in the past few years, recent past, it has been seen that there has been a kind of increase in all this, एंड क्योंकि इनका नया फॉर्म आ रहा है, इंक्रीज हो रहा है, सो देयर वाज नीड विच वाज फेल्ट फॉर अ लॉ. इनफैक्ट टेररिज्म के ऊपर वी हैव अ स्पेसिफिक लॉ, दैट इज द UAPA. वी डू हैव ऑर्गेनाइज्ड क्राइम्स में वी डिड नॉट हैव अ नेशनल लेवल लॉ. We had laws at state level कि भाई महाराष्ट्र का मकोका था for handling organized crime, but there were so many other states which did not have specific laws for handling organized crime. तो अब जो है हमारा जो central law है, the law which is going to be applicable to all the states in the country, उस particular law में we have introduced rather the concept of organized crime also. So ये organized crime and petty organized crime दो में divided है. We would be doing all these in a little bit of more detail. And of course, cyber crime, that is another thing, which is happening a lot in today's date. So there have been certain changes in the provisions which are making the law enforcement agency better equipped to take care of it and to address the issues which the people of the country are facing. Okay. Next is consolidating and streamlining. Now, this is, I feel, one of the major things which the Act has done. The entire IPC has been kind of reshuffled. So, in fact, जब पहली बार BNS का first draft आया था, तब people were not able to understand कि क्या क्या changes हैं. So what everybody felt was एक चीज तो जरूर करिए कि इन्होंने chapters को ऊपर नीचे shuffle कर दिया है, चाहे और कोई नया change हो ना हो. Now that of course has happened. The entire pattern as to how the sections are going to flow has been changed. But if you see the way the pattern that is followed now, the logic which the government has given is that we have prioritized कि क्या चीज हमारे लिए सबसे important है. Right, so apart from the first few sections, जब actual offenses शुरू होते हैं, so the first part talks about offenses which affect women and children. In fact, earlier in the IPC, they were scattered here and there. कि dowry death अलग जगह है, cruelty by husband अलग जगह है, rape अलग जगह है, assault अलग जगह है, so voyeurism अलग जगह है. So all these offenses which were related to women and also children, when it came down to trafficking and everything was spread around all over the IPC. But अब जो क्या किया है, इन्होंने उन सबको consolidate कर दिया. In fact, so if you look at how it is being arranged, सबसे पहले you have your offenses which affect women and children. Then you have offenses which affect the human body. तो भाई पहले बोला है कि सबसे important है हमारे लिए women and children. Then it comes down to general offenses against human body, and then it comes down to offenses against the state, and so on and so forth. So sort of a hierarchy has been tried, or sort of a, they've tried to show how much of importance is given to what is the reasoning they have given behind the way the chapters have been set. तो ये ऊपर से नीचे जो पूरा reshuffling है वो इस तरह से हुआ है कुछ. And then you also have the fact that number of sections have been reduced. Earlier there were 511 sections. They were divided into about 23 chapters. Now you have 358 sections which have been divided into 20 chapters. तो ये एक और change हुआ है, wherein the number of chapters and all have been decreased and number of sections have been increased. अब ये decrease कैसे हुआ है? इसमें इन्होंने दो तीन चीजें करी हैं. सबसे पहले what they have done is, if you look at the definition clause of the act. Now, in the earlier IPC, सारी की सारे definitions जो है single अलग अलग sections में थे. So roughly from about section number 7-8 to about section number 52 तक सारी definitions दी. In the BNS, they have consolidated it. They have done it that there is a definition clause, which is section 2. And under section 2, all the definitions have been added. Now, this is normally the kind of format which is followed in all legislations in our country. ये जो definition है, वो generally section 2 होता है, definition clause. And then in which all the definitions which are specifically required, needed for that particular enactment are put in that particular section, right? So that kind of makes it easier rather than having it, all across. So that is one. And the other thing it was seen कि इन्होंने क्या किया है, that they have consolidated. there are couple of provisions on one particular thing, तो उनको इकट्ठा करके एक provision बना दिया है. Or at times, there were provisions which had been held ultra vires by the Supreme Court. Like I was mentioning, कुछ चीजें जो है कि Supreme Court ने ultra vires कर दी थी, but the numbers were still existing. So all those have also been taken up. So, all that included has kind of made the number of sections under the BNS a little lesser than what they were under the IPC, right? So that's another thing, consolidation and streamlining, another goal which they had wanted to achieve while bringing in this new act. Now, another thing which was there when you look at the BNS is that they wanted to, get over with the colonial language. They said कि जो language use करी गई है वो बहुत outdated है, बहुत colonial है. So certain terms have been reduced, like the term minor has been replaced with child. Instead of using the term insane, the term which is being used is a person of unsound mind, right? So these are certain basic changes which have been brought about by the BNS. Moving on are certain changes like attempt to commit suicide. Now, I was telling you that, there are certain provisions which the Supreme Court has held to be ultra vires. When it comes down to the IPC, attempting to commit suicide was also a punishable offense. अब ये जो punishable offense था, ये Mental Health Care Act जब आया था 2017 में, as per this act, this provision had kind of lost its value because this particular act had said that, if you are attempting to commit a suicide, you cannot really be made punishable from an offense because, it generally shows that you're suffering from some sort of a mental health issue, right? So keeping in line with that, the provision regarding attempt to commit suicide that has been deleted from the BNS. So it's no more an offense to commit an attempt to commit a suicide is no more an offense. Otherwise, it used to be very painful. You're trying to commit suicide. That means you're already undergoing something which is really, really difficult for you. On top of that, if you fail, if you pass, then you're dead, right? But if you fail, then you go behind the bars, right? So that was a very difficult sort of a situation कि मतलब एक तरफ कुआं दूसरी तरफ खाई, तो at least एक तरफ की situation जो है control में है, right? Okay. Next is expanding of jurisdiction. Now, Section 48 specifically talks about criminalizing abetment outside India. Now, when you are looking at abetment outside India, it means that the offense has been committed in India, but the abetment took place outside India. तो अब अबेटमेंट का मतलब क्या होता है नॉर्मली कि दैट आप इंस्टिगेट कर रहे हो किसी को क्राइम कमिट करने के लिए, या आप किसी के साथ कंस्पायर कर रहे हो कोई क्राइम कमिट करने के लिए, या आपने किसी की हेल्प करी है क्राइम कमिट करने के लिए. सो व्हेन यू आर लुकिंग एट सेक्शन 48, व्हाट इट हैज सेड, नॉर्मली अबेटमेंट अगर इंडिया में हुआ है कि भाई आपने किसी को पॉइजन प्रोवाइड करा एंड उस पॉइजन से किसी ने किसी का मर्डर कर दिया, तो अगर आपने इंडिया में पॉइजन प्रोवाइड करा है देन यू विल बी लायबल फॉर अबेटमेंट. बट यही पॉइजन अगर आपने किसी फॉरेन कंट्री में करा है, मान लो कोई बाहर से आ रहा है, कोई दुबई से आ रहा है, आपने दुबई में उसको पॉइजन प्रोवाइड करा एंड विद दैट पॉइजन दैट गाय किल्ड समबडी इन इंडिया. So under the earlier law, you could not be punished for that. But under the new law, for this also you can be punished, right? So when you're looking at section 48, it means that you have committed abetment outside India, but for the offense which was committed in India. So for that also you can be held liable, right? So in this way, there has been sort of a broadening, कि broaden कर दिया है scope हमारे abetment of an offense का. ठीक है, चलो. Next when you look at is community service. एक ये बड़ा ही important सा change लेकर आए हैं under the BNS, because otherwise usually if a person is found guilty of an offense, तो punishment क्या हो सकती थी? Punishment होती थी usually it used to be some sort of an imprisonment, fine, बहुत ही heinous offense है तो फिर death penalty हो जाएगा. कई specific property type offenses में forfeiture of property could also be a punishment which you could get, कि भाई आपकी property जो है वो जब्त कर ली जाएगी, आपकी property आपसे ले ली जाएगी. If let's say you've taken somebody's property over, you have taken wrongfully. So those were the kind of punishments which generally exist. But there was nothing known as community service. Community service एक नई चीज है जो कि इंट्रोड्यूस करी गई है under the BNS. So under section 4F of the BNS, that this has been included as a punishment. अब ये किस चीज के लिए normally, what is the reason why community service has been given, is being introduced as a punishment, is keeping in mind the reformative approach. अब जैसे कि अगर आप कभी भी बीएनएस के बारे में सुनोगे तो सबसे पहले गवर्नमेंट क्या बोलती है? गवर्नमेंट बोलती है कि भाई हमने इसका नाम बदला है, और नाम के पीछे भी आई एम श्योर ऑल ऑफ यू आर अवेयर बहुत कंट्रोवर्सी हुई थी। अब ये भारतीय न्याय संहिता, ये नाम क्यों है? बोलते हैं क्योंकि हम न्याय प्रोवाइड कर रहे हैं, वी आर गिविंग यू जस्टिस। सो द न्यू लॉज आर अबाउट गिविंग जस्टिस, दे आर नॉट अबाउट giving dand, they are not about giving penalty. So that is why instead of calling it the Indian Penal Code, we are calling it the Indian Justice Code of sorts, so भारतीय न्याय संहिता। तो जब आप ये न्याय को देखते हो, so community service here is one of the things which they have brought about to justify this न्याय। अब community service का purpose क्या है कि instead of putting a person inside a prison, आप अगर the person has committed certain offenses which are not very serious, petty offenses, like community service आपको punishment दी जाती है अगर आपने theft commit करा है for less than ₹5,000 and आप first time offender, right? तो आपने अगर मान लो किसी के यहाँ से कोई एप्पल चुरा लिया, आपको भूख लगी, तो वो एप्पल चुराने के लिए should you be sent to prison? Earlier under the provision of theft there was only imprisonment. तो अगर आपने एक एप्पल भी चुराया है तब भी आपको जेल ही जाना पड़ेगा उसके लिए। But under the BNS, what are they saying? That instead of, putting the person behind the bars, you give them community service. Ab community service में क्या क्या आएगा? That is something which is very wide. The scope is very wide. So it could be anything. It could be from, you have to teach in a particular school, या आपको कहीं सफाई करनी पड़ी. It could be anything. There's a very wide sort of a thing as to what could be considered as community service. But for certain offenses which are not very serious in nature, community service has now been introduced as a punishment which you could give, so that it acts as a method of reform. Because आप उस इंसान को who has committed this offense ऐसी punishment नहीं दोगे कि वो कि the punishment should actually be relative or should be in relation to the offense which has been committed. तो अगर offense serious नहीं है तो punishment भी बहुत serious नहीं होना चाहिए, and in a manner कि भाई आप उसको punishment तो दे रहे हो but वो चाहे उससे थोड़ा सा better इंसान बने, ना कि जेल में जाए। A lot of times it was said that for a very small offense you was put in the prison, and instead of coming out being reformed, maybe with all the company that you keep in the prison, it might have an opposite effect, right? So that is why this community service is something which has been added, a very progressive step so far as BNS is concerned. अच्छा, एक चीज controversial जो implement नहीं हुआ है, that is your section 106 clause 2, very specific. अब section 106 जो था वो बात करता है death caused by negligence. तो जैसे हम बात करते हैं ना मेडिकल नेग्लिजेंस के केसेस हो गए या रोड एक्सीडेंट का केस हुआ, बाय रैश और नेग्लिजेंट एक्ट अगर किसी का डेथ कॉज हुआ, then there is punishment for it. Now earlier also there was a provision under the IPC for that, but there is a new thing which has been added under 1062 wherein they have said that अगर hit and run हुआ, कि मतलब vehicular accident हुआ है, गाड़ी के साथ आपका एक्सीडेंट हुआ है, and after the accident you run away, you haven't stopped there to check what is wrong with the person, helped him go to the hospital or anything like that, rather you hit him and you run away from the spot, then in that case punishment could be up to 10 years. Now this is something which had created a lot of furore amongst the people who are in the transport business. तो जो वो ट्रक ड्राइवर्स थे और जो ट्रांसपोर्टेशन वाले लोग थे, उनके मन में ये शंका आई कि भाई हमारे साथ तो कई बार ये होता है, and if you're in a truck and all, at times you might not even come to know, or whatever, they felt that this punishment was a little too severe. So there was a lot of uproar regarding this. That is why, even though the entire instead of the IPC, you have the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita, which has come into force from the 1st of July. But so far as the hit and run section is concerned, 106 clause 2 is concerned, this has not been implemented. Okay, so keep this in mind कि IPC की जगह BNS आ तो गया है, पर एक section जो है IPC का, that has not been implemented, that is 106 clause 2. ठीक है, अब ये थे कुछ overview, certain very important aspects which have been changed, or new things which have been added. Now in this session what we will talk about is specific crimes or specific things which have been added to the IPC. जो change हुआ है and जो add हुआ है उसको हम एक एक करके अब deal करेंगे, that what all are the major changes, major offenses which have been added or major changes which have been made, right? Now, keeping in line with the fact कि भाई हमारे यहाँ सबसे priority under the BNS दी गई है offenses against women and children को. So the first thing that we will also begin with is offenses against women and children. अब यहाँ पे if you look at it, now this is exactly what I was saying, that there has been a prioritization कि भाई सबसे ऊपर offenses against women and children आएगा. That is why when you look at chapter 5, Chapter 5 is the provision जहां पे offenses against women and children जितने भी हैं, जो पूरे के पूरे IPC में scattered थे, they've always, all of them have been brought together. So whether it's dowry debt, assault, rape, cruelty by wife, husband, all those things have been brought together under chapter 5, right? So then let's understand what are the new things which have been added. एक चीज हो गई कि कलेक्ट करके आपने चैप्टर 5 में कर दिया, and then there's certain new things which have been added. Now, one of the new things which have added so far as the offense of rape is concerned is section 69. Now, so what does section 69 says? Section 69 says that if there's a sexual intercourse of false pretext to marry, मान लो किसी ने बोला है कि मैं तुमसे शादी करूंगा, there's a promise which is made by a guy to a girl and the girl believes it. Yes, this person will actually marry me, and goes ahead and has sexual relations with this fellow. Later on, it turns out that the guy never intended to marry. Now, in that case, it would amount to rape. Why? Because they're saying that in rape, there's supposed to be no consent. Here, the consent was taken deceitfully. There was no intention of this person, of this man, to marry the woman, but still, he's made those false promises, and because of those false promises, the woman has agreed to have these kind of sexual relations with him. Now, earlier also, in the previous law in our country, under the IPC, there was no special provision dealing with this. But there were Supreme Court judgments which held that agar aap aise karoge, then you would be liable for rape. But, sometimes, it's better to have clarity in the law itself. So, this is, okay. In fact, this is an example of one more thing which is being done by the BNS, that कुछ चीजें जो कि सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने as law laid down करी, उन चीजों को under the IPC, under the new BNS, they have been made part of the law. So this is an example of that this was something which was a law laid down by the Supreme Court, but now it has become a part of your codified law. अब ये सिर्फ landmark judgment नहीं रहा है, अब ये actually law बन गया under section 69. ठीक है. Next are two provisions which deal with gender neutrality. अब gender neutrality का मतलब है कि whether the offense has been committed by a man or by a woman, that is something which will not matter, right? So the two places where gender neutrality has been added is section 76 and section 77 of the BNS. The first one deals with assault or use of criminal force to a woman with the intent to disrobe her. So if you are using criminal force with the intent to disrobe her, then in that case, whether you're a man or a woman, it does not matter. Earlier, the provision said that where a man does this. Similarly, when you talk of voyeurism, voyeurism was also when a man does this, but both the things have been changed now. They have been made gender neutral, right? So when you're looking at voyeurism, voyeurism basically is a situation wherein we say, you are invading the private space of a woman. You are in a way looking at her. In fact, when you look at voyeurism, it says whoever watches or captures the image of a woman in a private act, right? So you are talking of a woman who is in a private space and you are watching her or taking images of her. That was considered to be voyeurism, right? So, and she's not aware of the fact that her perpetrator, whoever the person is, observing her. So she's unaware of that fact. So that was considered as voyeurism. So earlier this offense was only supposed to be for a man, but now it has become gender neutral. So whether you're a man, woman, or belong to any other gender, you can still be held liable for voyeurism, right? So that is there. Another thing in which gender neutrality has been brought in is when you're looking at offenses related to importation of a person from a foreign country. Now, earlier, this basically, when we are looking at this, we are talking about trafficking, right? कि आप foreign country से किसी girl या boy को India में लेकर आए हो for the purpose of carrying out some sort of a sexual violation with them. So that was something which was covered under 141, and 141 earlier only covered girls. कि अगर आप किसी गर्ल को लेकर आए हो for this purpose within India, then you'll be tried for an offense under the IPC. However, under the BNS, अब ये expand कर दिया है, so whether it's a girl or a boy, in both the cases, if trafficking has happened with an intent, to commit some sort of a sexual offense with the child, then in that case, you will be held liable, right? So यहाँ पे again gender neutral कर दिया है हमारी law को. So these are the instances where gender neutrality has been achieved. ठीक है. एक और change जो कि लाया गया है especially for women and especially, we are focusing on children here. When we're looking of a gang rape of a woman under the age of 18. Now, the previous law, IPC, also provided for punishment for gang rape of a woman, right? So if there is a gang rape of a woman which happened, then there's a minimum punishment of 20 years which was there and which could increase to life imprisonment. So पहले 20 years in life imprisonment का punishment तो था. अभी भी under the BNS that still exists, right? It is not as though वो नहीं है, वो अभी भी है कि BNS के अंदर अगर आपने gang rape commit किया किसी भी woman का, the minimum punishment there is still 20 years, extendable up to life imprisonment. But under the BNS, they have added another provision specifically for women under 18. So we are talking about minors here. Again, 18 years के अंदर जो भी women होगा जिसका gang rape हुआ है, the punishment is become more stringent. यहाँ पे minimum punishment ही इन्होंने imprisonment for life करा है, which could extend to death. So death penalty is something which has been introduced when it comes down to gang rape of women under the age of 18. Something very specific which has been added for women. Okay. Now, even though all these changes have been made, but still, obviously, rape के context में there have been certain criticism which the BNS is facing. अब वो क्या है? सबसे पहली बात है कि BNS ने अभी भी मैरिटल रेप का एक्सेप्शन रखा हुआ है. Marital rape was in news some, I think, a year or 2 years back, जब दिल्ली हाई कोर्ट का जजमेंट आ रहा था कि भाई मैरिटल रेप should it be considered to be should it be valid or not valid? Because under the offense of rape, जहाँ पे rape का definition दिया है हमारे law में, वहाँ पे एक exception दिया है that if it is a husband who has sexual intercourse with a wife who's above the age of 18, then in that case, it will not be considered as rape, right? अगर 18 के नीचे है तो अलग बात है, but exception specifically says 18 के ऊपर, if it's your wife, then you cannot be held liable for rape, right? Now that was something which was under challenge. The courts had also refused to really pass a judgment on it. They did not go into the validity, and even the BNS has not gone into it. So this is one area which has been under a lot of discussion. Some people are in favor of the fact that even if you are married, still the concept of rape should exist. On the other hand, the lobby which is not pro marital rape. They are of the opinion that it will be very easy to misuse this provision of marital rape. How do you prove that there was no consent? So things are a little both sides are there. So therefore, BNS has kind of steered clear and not included the concept of marital rape, right? So marital rape यहाँ पे out है. Then this is another thing which is being, which has been sort of a criticism, which says that outraging the modesty of women. अब ये जो phrase था, ये IPC में भी था, and there was a lot of demand from all fronts, that especially from women groups, that what is this outraging the modesty of women? This is such an archaic sort of a language. This is this is a phrase which is, they say, the value laden phrase, that so much of you're trying to say that women are supposed to be acting in a particular manner, modest. So with the way things are in the modern times, this is not how it functions with the modern values. Therefore, instead of this term, they should have used a gender neutral term like sexual assault. But this has not been done, right? So instead of sexual assault, outraging the modesty of women is still something which is there. And next it says, it does not include any provision for offenses involving rape of males or transgender. Now, this is something which has not been done. Rape is still supposed to be an offense which can be committed only against a woman, right? So if you look at the provision also, the provision says that it's supposed to be an offense which is committed against a woman. So far as males are concerned, so far as transgenders are concerned, they are still not included within the definition of rape, right? So that is another criticism which this law is facing. Okay, now this was about rape. Achha, so far as children are concerned, there is another section which has been added, section 95, which says that hiring, employing, engaging a child to commit an offense is itself an offense. So, it's not just that you might not be committing an offense, but you are hiring the services of a minor, of a child, to commit an offense, then that itself would lead to punishment for you. And this is a specific offense which has been created. ठीक है, चलो, तो ये थे हमारे offenses against women and children. Now we will move on to another specific offense which has been created under the BNS. This is sedition. Sedition, again, very controversial. भाई अब नई law के हिसाब से sedition is not something which is a part of the BNS. Rather, what is a part of BNS is supposed to be Deshdroh. In fact, that's how the Mr. Amit Shah, when he had the Honorable Minister, when he had introduced these bills, he had spoken very specifically about sedition also. He had said कि भाई sedition था राजद्रोह, कि आप जो सरकार, जो गवर्नमेंट है, राज के अगेंस्ट आपने द्रोह करा है. That is what the Britishers had brought into place. But what we are bringing in is not राजद्रोह. राजद्रोह हटा दिया गया. इसकी जगह क्या है? देशद्रोह, anti-national. So anti-national is something which is being punished, but not sedition. Okay. Now sedition always had a bad name because the fact that it was known for suppressing the voice of dissent. तो भाई गवर्नमेंट के अगेंस्ट अगर कोई भी कुछ बोल रहा है तो द जनरल फियर वाज दैट सेडिशन का जो ऑफेंस चार्ज है आपके ऊपर लग जाएगा एंड यू विल बी पुट बिहाइंड द बार्स और यू विल बी स्ट्रगलिंग अंडर द under the charges of sedition. Okay, so this was generally what has been seen over a period of years, over the past few years. So instead of sedition, अब इन्होंने क्या लाया है? 152 के अंदर anti-national या देशद्रोह. Now let's understand the difference between 152 and 124. Now I have 152 right here. 152 says purposely or knowingly. Now this is showing you the mens rea. Now, I'm sure all of you are law students. If you're listening to this video, then you would know what mens rea is. Mens rea क्या होता है? आपका mental element. जब भी हम कोई crime करते हैं, तो crime में दो elements होते हैं. एक होता है mens rea कि भी आपका mental element क्या है. दूसरा होता है actus reus कि आपका action क्या है. Right? So जो ये 124A था पहले सेडिशन का, that never really explained the mens rea behind commission of the offense. It never spoke of mens rea. So purposely and knowingly, this was not something which was given under 124, but under 152, that mens rea has been given. So that's a good thing. So when you're doing it with this intention, either you're doing purposely or you're doing knowingly, that by your words, spoken, written, all this is similar to what was there under the IPC. एक चीज यहाँ ऐड करी गई है, बाय इलेक्ट्रॉनिक कम्युनिकेशन और बाय यूज ऑफ फाइनेंशियल मीन्स। तो अब ये दो चीजें जो है यहाँ ऐड करी। इलेक्ट्रॉनिक कम्युनिकेशन इज समथिंग व्हिच हैज बीन स्पेसिफिकली एडेड, considering the fact that technology, the way it functions today, everybody has a phone, everybody has access to technology, and more than going on the streets and saying something, people are using technology to say things and all that. So यहाँ पे बहुत specifically to bring that factor in, they have added these words, electronic communication, and then it says otherwise excites or attempts to excite. यहाँ तक ठीक है। पहले क्या लिखा हुआ था? पहले था disaffection towards government established by law. So this was the earlier terminology which was used, which was very vague. यहाँ पे कुछ भी नहीं था कि disaffection कैसे होगा, what will be considered as disaffection. All that was not there. So it was considered to be very vague. But under the new law, they have tried to be a little more specific. अब specific कैसे हुए? उन्होंने क्या बोला है? They are saying secession or armed rebellion or subversive activities or encourages feeling of separatist activities or endangers sovereignty or unity and integrity of India. अब इसमें कुछ चीजें तो फिर भी थोड़ी सी क्लियर लगती हैं कि भाई secession, wherein you are trying to say that you want to secede, you want to separate from India. Armed rebellion is clearly violence, तो वो चीजें क्लियर हैं। बट ये जो subversive activities हैं and encourages feelings of separatist activities, so one is secession की अलग, and दूसरा है encourages feeling of separatist activities. These two are the ones which are kind of troubling, people, that ये वाली इन चीजों का misuse हो सकता है। That what would be considered as subversive activities, what would be considered as separatist or feeling, rather not separate, but feeling of separatist activities, ये क्या होगा? How do you define this? This is something which is completely new. These kind of terms have never been used in law. तो अब इसमें इंटरप्रिटेशन आ जाएगा कोर्ट का कि भाई क्या इसमें कंसिडर होगा और क्या इसमें कंसिडर नहीं होगा। एंड जब तक मैटर कोर्ट में आता है तब तक तो पुलिस के हाथ में बात। सो देयर इज फियर दैट जैसे सेडिशन का मिसयूज होता था बिकॉज ऑफ दोज वेग टर्म्स, इस न्यू प्रोविजन का भी मिसयूज हो सकता है because of these two terms which are not very clear, whereas the other terms are fairly clear, but these two are likely to cause are a cause of concern because इनका मिसयूज हो सकता है। ठीक है, अब पनिशमेंट में भी चेंज हुआ है। That's another change which has been made. Change here, it says that shall be punished with imprisonment for life or imprisonment which may extend to 7 years and fine. तो अभी क्या है भाई, लाइफ इम्प्रिजनमेंट हो सकती है या इम्प्रिजनमेंट अप टू 7 years हो सकती है और फाइन। Earlier the the punishment for sedition was very wide in the sense that one could be punished only with fine, one could be punished with life imprisonment, or one could be punished with imprisonment up to 3 years with fine. अब ये बहुत ही weird और बहुत ही it did not look very logical and very fair, the kind of punishment which was given for sedition, because end of the day ये sedition वाला provision तो Britishers ने बनाया था, and this was basically made to deal with the Indian freedom fighters. तो वहां पे जब freedom fighter उनके साथ मिल गया तो फिर उसको हम सिर्फ फाइन दे देंगे, जो नहीं मिला उसको हम लाइफ इम्प्रिजनमेंट में दे देंगे, जो थोड़ा सा बीच में है उसको 3 years दे देंगे। सो द पनिशमेंट हियर वाज नॉट was not in parity or was not really as per the crime which was being defined. तो अब यहाँ पे क्या है, that's what the government tried to say, that अब there is sort of a parity, though there is hue and cry कि punishment बहुत ज्यादा है. Punishment is, it may extend to 7 years, it may extend to life imprisonment and along with fine. So for sure, the punishment has increased, but there is still, I think it's a little more consistent than what it was in the previous law. ठीक है, तो वो जो है अलग बात थी. Okay, so this is about sedition. Now, let's move on to the next offense, which is mob lynching. Now, mob lynching is again something which is a new offense which has come into play. This was not an offense which was existing under the IPC. अब mob lynching यहाँ पे अलग से offense नहीं. You know, if you see, mob lynching is added here as a form of punishment under murder. So 103, which deals with punishment for murder, clause 1 says whoever commits murder shall be punished with death or life imprisonment. So ye punishment thi. And then clause 2 says that when you have a group of 5 or more people acting in concert, again, they are committing murder, but on very specific grounds, on grounds of race, caste, community, sex, place of birth, language, personal belief or any other similar ground. तो भाई यहाँ पे क्या बोल रहा है कि आपने 5 or more people ने डेथ कॉज करा है, मर्डर करा है, एंड this is a similar ground which you have on the basis of which the death has been caused or the murder has been committed. So here, in a way, they have carved out a new offense. You know, similar murder का ही एक different variant यहाँ पे create करा गया है. So if you look at it, you know, the entire purpose, because mob lynching is something which we have seen on various grounds. Mob lynching has happened. In fact, you know, people are saying कि ये आपने बहुत ही cryptic सा एक section बना दिया है, and you are not considering hate crimes, honor killing. ये mob lynching बहुत general एक provision बना गया है. But if you look at it, this kind of covers everything, you know. So whether it is a case of honor killing or it is a hate crime, they have kind of tried to, you know, include all those things in one particular provision. And end of the day, in this provision, what is happening is death is being caused. Death is being caused by a group, right? So there are reservations that how will this be proved? Now, it will be difficult to prove, you know, because it's not a separate offense. But at the same time, if you see, you know, this offense being an aggravated form of murder, there is a group liability which is come into play, and जहाँ पे कहीं ना कहीं group liability में, if you can prove that what was the ground and if you can prove the relationship between all these people who are working together, then it becomes easier for the you know, the authorities to prove the case also, right? So this is generally the understanding of what mob lynching is, and very serious sort of an offense. And it's kind of is, you know, the idea behind mob lynching was that, you know, this like a social message which the government has tried to say कि भाई solidarity promote करना है, peace and harmony promote करना है, कि हमारी इतनी diversity है country में, still we are living, you know, in a manner which is so nice. You know, we've been living together with each other for so long. So to continue with the peace and harmony that we're living in with, this sort of a provision it felt was needed, so that agar koi ye karne ka soche, you know, they would still be giving it a second thought that, you know, for this you can actually be sentenced to death, for this you can actually be sentenced to life imprisonment, right? So it kind of protects the vulnerable section of the society, the minority section of the society, against being you know, attacked by the so-called attacked by the so-called majority, right? So those were some of the thoughts which have gone behind mob lynching. And also, you know, there's this concept of due process of law. So this law is also against what is known as vigilantism. कि भाई अगर आपको लग रहा है कि कुछ गलत हो रहा है, so does it mean that you can take law into your own hands and start attacking? You cannot. राइट, ड्यू प्रोसेस जो लॉ का प्रोसेस है, जस्टिस हमेशा लॉ के थ्रू होगा. आप खुद बैटमैन या सुपरमैन या स्पाइडरमैन नहीं बन सकते, right? You cannot take law in your own hands. Okay, so this is generally the idea behind the offense of mob lynching. ठीक, चलो अब हम आगे बढ़ते हैं. अगला हमारा है टेररिस्ट एक्ट. अब टेररिस्ट एक्ट till date was something which was defined under the UAPA. UAPA 1967 का था, जो बहुत specifically is a law which was for terrorist acts. Under the regular criminal law of the country, there was no concept of terrorist. In fact, अगर आप definition भी देखोगे यहाँ पे, of terrorist act, it says with intent to threaten or likely to threaten unity, integrity, sovereignty, security, economic security of India, and all this. It is very similar to the definition given in UAPA, right? So it is not as though यहाँ पे terrorist कुछ और है, UAPA में कुछ और है. कुछ चीजें अलग होंगी, but basically the definitions are very, very similar, right? So there is certain overlapping to a certain extent which is happening because we do have, a central law in place which defines terrorism and another law which is now defining terrorism. अब एक और इसमें important चीज आती है when you look at terrorist acts is that this particular provision has been added in offenses against human body. Now, one would normally think अब terrorist है तो security, you're clearly saying unity, integrity, sovereignty of India को affect कर रहा है and all that. So shouldn't it be in offenses against state? कि जो state के against offenses है उसमें terrorist act को रखो, and why are you putting it offenses against human body? Because even when you look at जो आगे terrorism का पूरा definition दिया हुआ है that how will it be committed by planting a bomb or by kidnapping somebody and things like that. So when you're planting a bomb, then maybe there are no people who died, but property is getting damaged. So there was this thing that why is it that we are keeping it within the chapter of human body? So one can only think right now because we don't really know what went inside there, what was the reasoning. But one of the reasonings that I could come up with was that when you are looking at an act of terrorism, over 50,000 people have been killed by terrorist activity, due to terrorist activity in our past. So therefore, when you're looking at a terrorist activity, it actually is a major offense against human body. Also, if you look at a Supreme Court judgment, there's a landmark judgment called PUCL versus Union of India. In that, Supreme Court has specifically said that a terrorist act is a gross violation of human rights, right? So this is an offense which is not just against the state, but this is an offense which is committed against the people specifically, against the human beings specifically, right? So it amounts to a human right violation also. So keeping all this in the background, one can kind of understand as to why it has been put under offenses against human body and not offenses against state. और वैसे offenses against state की काफी लंबी list जो है वो बन चुकी थी, तो that could be the thing कि भैया इसको यहाँ रख लो. But that's on a lighter side. But generally, these would be the guiding factors as to why they are being put in the chapter of offenses against human body, right? Now, okay. Now, when I was talking about UAPA का overlap, अब एक चीज और दिमाग में आती है कि भाई ओवरलैप हो रहा है तो फिर उसके अंदर ट्राई करें, यूएपीए के अंदर ट्राई करें या आईपीसी के अंदर ट्राई करें या बीएनएस के अंदर ट्राई करें, किसके अंदर ट्राई करा जाए? तो जब अगर मतलब दिस इज हाउ द people who are actually enforcing the law should function is that under the UAPA the provisions are very stringent, right? जैसे provision का bail का provision है वो बहुत stringent है, जैसे आपका so all these provisions getting bail under UAPA is very difficult, right? So अगर किसी ने terrorist act करा है but कोई first time offender है, there's a first time offender, there's a young person, then in that scenario should that person really be tried under the UAPA or can he still be tried under the BNS? तो वहां पे ये एक ऑप्शन आपके पास अवेलेबल रहेगा कि आप सिर्फ यूएपीए के अंडर नहीं ट्राई कर सकते हो. इफ इट्स समबडी who might have committed an act which comes under terrorist act but यंगस्टर है, young adult है and first time offender है, then in that case instead of applying the UAPA you can actually hold him liable under the BNS where the provisions regarding bail and other provisions are a little less stringent, right? So that would be another way how it can work in favor of an accused कि भाई यूएपीए में भी definition है और बीएनएस में definition है. ठीक? So this is about a terrorist act. Now let's move forward. The next thing which is in play here is when we are talking about organized crime and petty organized crime. ये दो नए सेक्शंस हैं, ये दो नए ऑफेंसेस हैं जो कि ऐड करे गए हैं अंडर द कैटेगरी ऑफ क्राइम्स. नाउ ऑर्गेनाइज्ड क्राइम के ऊपर पहले देयर वर laws which were at the state level. Like you must have heard of the MCOCA, जो महाराष्ट्र का organized crime act है. But at a national level, there was no specific law. So there was a lack or there was a dearth or need which was felt कि national level पे भी organized crime का act होना जरूरी है. Because कई बार क्या होता था कि भाई महाराष्ट्र में ऑर्गेनाइज क्राइम नहीं हुआ है किसी और स्टेट में, जैसे क्या बंगाल में, वेस्ट बंगाल डिड नॉट हैव एन ऑर्गेनाइज क्राइम एक्ट ऑफ इट्स ओन. तो अगर वहां पे हुआ है देन यू स्टिल बी लायबल अंडर द आईपीसी. देयर वाज नो ऑर्गेनाइज्ड क्राइम एक्ट. तो ऑर्गेनाइज्ड क्राइम एक्ट की एक बहुत नीड थी दैट देयर नीड्स टू बी अ act governing this. There needs to be a provision, a law governing this at the national level, at the union level. So that was answered in the form of section 111 of the BNS. अब यहाँ पे what are they describing as organized crime? They're saying any continuing unlawful activity, right? So it has to be an unlawful activity जो कि continuously हो रही है. And यहाँ पे बहुत specifically define किया है कौन सी unlawful activity होगी. Now this is an inclusive definition. It says including. मतलब ये नहीं कि सिर्फ यही होंगे, but generally they're giving you the direction in which it is taking, kidnapping, robbery, vehicle theft, extortion, and all the cyber crimes भी यहाँ पे included हैं, economic offenses भी यहाँ पे included हैं. So all these are considered to be continuing unlawful activity. But in fact ये unlawful continuing and for unlawful activity section 111 में defined भी है. इन्होंने अलग से भी define कर रखा है. In fact, so when they are defining it, they say that they're any kind of a cognizable offense for which 3 years or more punishment can be given. तो अगर कोई भी आपका cognizable offense है जिसके लिए 3 साल से ज्यादा की punishment आपको मिल रही है, that could be considered as an unlawful activity, right? तो because आप बोल रहे हो any continuing, ऐसी unlawful activity जो continue कर रही है, बार बार हो रही है, तो कौन सी unlawful activity कुछ आपने यहाँ दे रखे हैं specifically which they wanted to be covered. And they have also said that any cognizable offense which is above punishable for more than 3 years, that would also be included in this, right? तो ये हो गया आपका organized crime. और ये commit कौन कर रहा है? It very specifically says by any person or group of person acting in concert or singly or jointly. मतलब चाहे वो अकेले ही काम कर रहा है, but वो किसके लिए काम कर रहा है? He is either a member of crime syndicate और ऑन बिहाफ ऑफ सम सिंडिकेट, राइट? तो चाहे वो काम अकेला ही कर रहा है, मान लो किसी ने गाड़ी एक ही बंदे ने चुराई है, बट ही कुड स्टिल बी अ पार्ट ऑफ ऑर्गेनाइज्ड क्राइम अगर वो किसी गैंग के लिए काम कर रहा है, ठीक है ना? किसी सिंडिकेट, क्राइम सिंडिकेट का डेफिनेशन भी दिया हुआ है जहां पे more than two people are coming together and continuously they are committing lot of crimes. तो वहां पे अगर आप क्राइम सिंडिकेट के मेंबर हो then you are going to be liable. And also it says अगर आपने on behalf of syndicate करा, तो ये भी हो सकता है कि भाई किसी ने क्राइम सिंडिकेट की सर्विस क्राइम सिंडिकेट ने किसी और की सर्विस हायर करी है. जैसे हम बोलते हैं ना कि हाँ भाई हमें अपने पंखे साफ कराने तो हमने अर्बन क्लैप की सर्विस हायर करी. सिमिलर नोट व्हेन दे आर सेइंग दैट इफ लेट्स से आई हायर यू एज somebody who is a very good shooter कि मैं आप तुम्हें 50,000 दूंगी, you will have to go and shoot that XYZ fellow. So here if the person who's giving you the money is an organized crime syndicate, then also you will be liable for an organized crime. Why? Because you are acting on behalf of that syndicate, right? So you may not be a member of that syndicate, but if you're acting on behalf, if you're working for the syndicate, then again it will be considered as an organized crime and you are going to be liable for the same. ठीक है, तो ये फिर आपका ऑर्गेनाइज्ड क्राइम होता है. इट सेज बाय यूज ऑफ वायलेंस, थ्रेट ऑफ वायलेंस, इंटिमिडेशन, कोercion, मटेरियल बेनिफिट के लिए, सो ऑल दीज आर गोइंग टू बी कंसिडर्ड एज ऑर्गेनाइज्ड क्राइम। तो एक ये हुआ आपका ऑर्गेनाइज्ड क्राइम। इसमें ऑर्गेनाइज्ड क्राइम सिंडिकेट क्या होता है वो भी डिफाइन करा, इकोनॉमिक ऑफेंस क्या होता है वो भी डिफाइन करा, दे हैव गिवन लिस्ट ऑफ थिंग्स व्हिच विल बी कंसिडर्ड एज इकोनॉमिक ऑफेंसेस। ऑल दैट हैज बीन क्लियरली गिवन अंडर 111 कि ये ऑर्गेनाइज्ड क्राइम। एक ये ऑफेंस है। दूसरा ऑफेंस क्या बनाया इन्होंने, पेटी ऑर्गेनाइज्ड क्राइम। अब ये पेटी ऑर्गेनाइज्ड क्राइम क्या है, ये इसका कोई वो ऐसा नहीं है कि ऑर्गेनाइज्ड क्राइम थोड़ा एग्रेवेटेड वर्जन है और पेटी ऑर्गेनाइज्ड क्राइम उसका लोअर वर्जन है, नहीं, दे आर टू सेपरेट ऑफेंसेस, राइट? सो आइदर यू विल बी चार्ज फॉर ऑर्गेनाइज्ड क्राइम और यू विल बी चार्ज फॉर petty organized crime. So petty organized crime में again it says whoever being a member of a group or a gang, okay, and ये क्या offense commit करते हैं, theft, snatching, cheating, unauthorized selling of tickets and all that. तो अब यहाँ पे if you compare the kind of offenses which are being committed under petty organized crime, they are like a little more petty in nature, a little less serious in nature. इसीलिए ये petty organized crime है और इसकी punishment भी कम है। ये भी ऑर्गेनाइज्ड क्राइम है, तो इट्स अ ग्रुप व्हिच इज वर्किंग टुगेदर, बट द काइंड ऑफ offenses that they're doing वो उतने सीरियस नहीं है, therefore the penalty or the punishment for these petty organized crimes would also be little lesser than when you're looking at organized crimes. ठीक है। अच्छा, एक इंटरेस्टिंग चीज ये पेटी ऑर्गेनाइज्ड क्राइम में इज दैट द ऑफेंस ऑफ ट्रिक थेफ्ट इज इंक्लूडेड इन पेटी ऑर्गेनाइज्ड क्राइम। अब ट्रिक थेफ्ट जो है ये टर्म पूरे के पूरे आईपीसी में कहीं यूज नहीं था एंड बीएनएस में भी सिर्फ एक ही जगह यूज हुआ है व्हेन इट कम्स व्हिच इज टॉकिंग अबाउट पेटी ऑर्गेनाइज्ड क्राइम्स। सो ट्रिक थेफ्ट हियर इज ट्राइंग टू मेक इट कंटेम्पररी। वाई? बिकॉज ट्रिक थेफ्ट यहाँ पे बात कर रहा है जहां पे आप थेफ्ट कर रहे हो किसी को डिसीट करके, स्पेशली व्हेन यू लुकिंग एट फोन कॉल फ्रॉड्स, जो फोन पे फ्रॉड्स होते हैं, जो इंटरनेट फ्रॉड्स होते हैं, कई बार लोग आपको कॉल करते हैं, ओटीपी मांगते हैं, ऑल दोस काइंड ऑफ थिंग्स आर कंसिडर्ड एज ट्रिक थेफ्ट, जहां पे थेफ्ट हो रहा है बट यू आर बीइंग डिसीटेड, यू आर बीइंग काइंड ऑफ आपके साथ धोखा होके आपको ट्रिक करके थेफ्ट करा जा रहा है, दोस आर कंसिडर्ड एज ट्रिक थेफ्ट्स एंड दीज हैव बीन इंक्लूडेड इन द पेटी ऑर्गेनाइज्ड क्राइम। ठीक है, सो ये एक न्यू चीज है जो कि ऐड करी गई है यहाँ। ठीक है, सो अच्छा, एक और चीज व्हेन यू लुक एट ऑर्गेनाइज्ड क्राइम इज द फैक्ट दैट देयर इज अ फोकस ऑन प्रिवेंशन। सो दैट इज व्हाई अगर आप देखोगे यहाँ पे नॉर्मली जब हम क्राइम की पनिशमेंट की बात करते हैं वी ऑलवेज से दैट इफ यू आर पनिश्ड फॉर आइदर व्हेन यू अटेम्प्ट टू कमिट अ क्राइम और यू कमिट अ क्राइम। ठीक है, तो अटेम्प्ट की पनिशमेंट होती है या कमीशन की पनिशमेंट होती है, बट यहाँ पे इन ऑर्गेनाइज्ड क्राइम दे हैव स्पेसिफिकली एडेड दैट इवन ऑन द प्रेपरेशन स्टेज यू कैन बी हेल्ड लाइबल। तो जहां आप कंस्पायर कर रहे हो ऑर्गेनाइज्ड क्राइम कमिट करने के लिए, फॉर दैट ऑल्सो देयर इज punishment, which shows the intent of the legislature that the intention here is to prevent कि एक बार ऑफेंस कमिट हो गया उसके बाद पनिशमेंट देना एक चीज है, बट हियर वी आर ट्राइंग दैट वी द ऑफेंस इटसेल्फ इज नॉट कमिटेड, राइट? तो ये प्रिवेंशन के ऊपर फोकस कर रहा है, दैट इज व्हाई इवन where you are conspiring, preparing to commit an organized crime, that itself is also a punishable offense. ठीक है, चलो, so this is a basic idea behind the concept of organized crime, जो एक नया specific offense add करा गया है under the BNS. Now, the last of the offenses which we are going to do in detail today is theft and snatching. अब ये theft में क्या चेंज हुआ है? अब जो थेफ्ट की डेफिनेशन थी वो तो बिल्कुल सेम जैसी आईपीसी में डेफिनेशन थी वही आपने बीएनएस में भी डेफिनेशन लेकर आया। फर्क क्या आया है? ऑन द डेफिनेशन ऑफ मूवेबल प्रॉपर्टी, राइट? सो व्हेन आई लुक एट द डेफिनेशन ऑफ मूवेबल प्रॉपर्टी, ये इन्होंने वाइडन कर। ना मूवेबल प्रॉपर्टी इफ यू सी is very important for theft because theft सिर्फ movable property का होता है, right? No, when you say that without consent you take somebody's movable property out of somebody's possession, or rather you move the property to that uh, uh, to such taking when you want to take it without permission, right? Without his consent. Now when I look at the definition of movable property under the IPC, वहां पे movable property में word corporeal use करा गया था। They said that for a property to be movable, it had to be a corporeal property of every description except land and things which are permanently attached or fastened to the earth. Right? So अब ये क्या था? ये आपकी definition को बहुत छोटा कर देता है, and it only deals with things which have a physical form. That is what corporeal is. Corporeal is a tangible object. ऐसी चीज जो कि टच फील कर सकते हो. तो मेरा पेन corporeal property होगी, मेरा चश्मा corporeal property होगी, right? But if you look at the new definition of movable property, the word corporeal has been removed. It has been deleted. Rather, now the definition says that it includes property of every description except land and things attached to any things attached to the earth or permanently fastened to anything which is attached to the earth. So which means that यहाँ पे any kind of movable property will now be considered capable of being stolen, which means this includes data of theft, identity theft, intangible assets. जैसे आपकी कोई भी intangible assets, even when you talk of IPRs, when you talk of copyrights, trademarks, and all those things, those can also now come within the definition of theft, because end of the day it is talking about property of every description and it is not limiting itself to corporeal property. ठीक है, तो ये एक बहुत important step है, when you look at widening the definition of theft under the BNS. ठीक है, so this is something which is important. And the last thing for today's session is the offense of snatching. अब snatching जो है एक specific offense add करा गया है जब बोल रहे theft is snatching. तो अब ये theft snatching कब बन जाएगा? When the offender quickly or forcibly seizes, secures, grabs, take away from his possession any movable property. तो अगर आप झटके से, जैसे बोलते थे ना कि किसने मेरा चश्मा खींच लिया, किसने मेरी गोल्ड की चेन खींच ली, so that snatching is now a specific offense जिसके लिए specific punishment भी दी गई है, 3 years and fine. This is something which has been given so far as snatching is concerned. So this has been created as a special offense. Snatching अलग से offense कभी नहीं था. It was always a part of theft, but now it has been given a separate status. It's been converted to a specific offense. ठीक है, चलो ये था हमारा session on BNS. These were some of the major changes which have been brought about so far as the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita is concerned. I'm hoping the session was informative for all of you and you were able to gain something out of it, because whenever you read about the BNS or the BNSS or the BSS, जो तीनों हमारे criminal laws आए हैं, everywhere you get very brief outline. हर जगह एक बड़ा ही common सा overview सा मिलता है. So that was the main aim behind the session, that at least you have clarity about a particular act, and we would be having sessions on the other 2 criminal laws also, where we will deal with all the major changes which have been brought about in a detailed manner like the present session. Okay, I hope the session was helpful for you guys, and thank you so much. And these are our social media handles. If you feel that you gained something from the session, do like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Okay. Thank you so much. Take care, everybody.